welcome to Load Bearing Beams. My name is Matt Stokes.
And I'm Laci Roth.
We are talking about 2 movies on this episode because we have 2 guests. That's right, 2 people. 2 people. We have Wade Hymel.
That's me.
Dear friend of the podcast and dear friend of me and of Laci. More of me.
It's not a competition.
It's not. When
But you
he's
win.
here, the 2 of you make each other really silly and I just melt the fuck down.
Right.
But that's
right.
not that's
You
not
You
hap-
win, but you also lose.
That's totally not happening now. And the other person we had is another person who's
But he's now dead.
He's remotely joining us from Idaho, but they don't have the internet yet. So
In Idaho.
so
No.
he is not
I
with
don't know.
us. But maybe you'll know this if you're listening to this. You will hear him throughout because we watched the movie he suggested, and we don't want to waste that knowledge of that movie.
Plus,
being,
we love him, so we're going to weave him in.
We love you, Patrick.
Matt is a producer who produces things.
Mm-hmm.
This is no trouble, Patrick. Not a bit of trouble, what you've caused. Anyway.
No, that part's not trouble. No, this has been smooth. This has been flawless. This has all come together
Hey,
beautifully.
Matt.
Yes.
What do you, Patrick, and Wade have in common?
We're a band.
Oh, my God. And have you recently produced anything?
Thank you for asking.
That happened.
Yes, we did make an
The
album.
joy of what now?
The Joy of Averages by
Oh.
our band Rural Route 9.
That cover art, though.
That you designed. Yes.
Oh, my God. I knew it looked familiar.
So we'll play a song probably at the end of the episode.
Okay, which one?
Which song should we do? West in
I
Salem?
think the one with the
I guess your
guitars
single,
and
right?
and the
Yeah,
drums and
okay.
the keyboards.
The one with all the singing and witty repartee?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the one with the repertoire.
Do that one.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to hear that one. But,
Lullaby.
But we're not here to talk about music. We're here to talk about film.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you for that direction.
Millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
That's a film thing.
35 of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Grab the
The
cat.
red light that you run the sink under.
The black and white film camera, the video camera, and the DAT that they take into the
Dat.
woods.
That's what you kept
Yeah.
saying. We're discussing Blair Witch Project, and Dat was brought up in a yelling fashion many times.
Yeah.
Gotta
the
get the
DAT.
DAT back.
They rented the shit out of that equipment, didn't they? It was very realistic, the needing to get your, deposit back.
The DAT didn't come back the very next day.
Who took that?
He
Dat. Okay.
who DAT belongs to NOLA.
All right, you're always bringing up the Saints on these things.
Boo.
Boo.
Boo. Sports. Just kidding. We
Now-
love sports.
Oh, don't we love sports, you guys?
All of the balls,
Boxing,
all of the running,
curling,
sweats,
Horses,
javelin.
the ponies.
Yeah.
squatting.
I think we named them all.
Slot machine.
Okay, so Patrick
Hippopolo.
Patrick's movie was Patrick wanted to talk about the Blair Witch Project. And Wade, what did you want to talk about?
The Sarah Witch Project. Because we both thought that Blair was too modern of a name for an 1800s witch.
Yeah, it was like Facts of Life.
Right?
Witch. Blair.
Sarah Witch Project.
Wait, Laci, say that again. Sarah Witch Project?
The Sarah Witch Project? Oh.
Oh no, we
Whoa.
have drops.
If I didn't have this pillow on my lap, you'd see my boner. That
Guys.
is amazing.
Taking load-bearing beams into the production stratosphere.
Into the 1900s with Blair.
Into the 1900s.
That
with
track was
those-
1950s laugh track.
It's a classic.
Okay, so what's your move? What movie?
Yes, well, Wade, that's Patrick's movie. Wade, what's yours?
Meet the Parents.
No, it's Meet the Parents.
Meet the Parents.
There you go.
And
Yes,
we were going to have a nice little band bonding struggle session, but it was not to be.
Yeah. Because
But-
come to find out, they don't have internet in Idaho.
in the Idaho.
No. But
the I in Idaho is for I don't have internet.
It's not internet, right?
oh, well, let's do Blair Witch first, I guess. I'm going to play some spooky music. And
I got to
I'm gonna-
turn to that page of my notes.
And I'm going to do a little history because the history of this movie,
Does it have some
arguably
lore?
more interesting than the movie itself.
I want you to give us a tour, like a New Orleans...
a lore tour?
A New Orleans voodoo tour guide.
And remember, the tour's only as good as its tour guide. You don't want that campy tour guide who can't make anything scary.
Bobby Cole.
This sounds very serial.
Damn it, Bobby Cole.
Adnan. Malin Lee.
10 days after his film, Cannibal Holocaust, premiered in February of 1980. Director Ruggiero
doing
Deodato
serial.
was arrested on charges of obscenity and, later, murder. With allegations that he had murdered his actors and that his movie was, in fact, a snuff film. Cannibal Holocaust is a movie about a crew of filmmakers who go to the Amazon to shoot a documentary, disappear, and later only their cans of film are recovered.
And a
Which shows the crew getting killed in various ways, including one person getting impaled on screen. Cannibal Holocaust is the first popular example of found footage. And the authorities in Italy were so convinced it was real that they charged the director with murder. They thought he must have actually impaled his actor to death. It just seemed so real. He had to produce the actual actors to prove that the film was staged and not actually a snuff film.
Is it snuff without sex?
No, snuff
Sarah,
means like killing. And,
I know what snuff means, but
Well, it
it's
doesn't seem like you do.
traditionally applied to sex within snuff. I thought it was sex and then
You ever
killing.
get snuffed out on the first date?
Am I totally confusing the two?
Yes, you are. You're confusing smut, maybe?
No, asshole. I know snuff. I just thought it was also sex related.
It can be, but
Most
that's not a
things
prerequisite.
are. Wow, you're smart. Continue.
Now, the filmmakers of Cannibal Holocaust didn't kill any humans,
Oh god, you suck at this.
but they did torture and murder several animals, including a sea turtle.
What? Those are indeed.
And that's one of the reasons I didn't want to watch it to prepare for this episode. I thought about it. It's on Amazon Prime, but I didn't want to get bummed out.
What year?
1980.
Fuck.
But, used to be killing animals was okay in movies. Like, up until like the 1990s, that was just something you did. I direct you to Milo and Otis, the Wikipedia of Milo and Otis, if you want to learn more about that.
Jesus,
But
the movie we were forced to watch at camp every summer. You'd go to the movie theater for the Milo and Otis showing. It was mandatory.
they still do that. They still have like special summer screenings
Snuff?
of Milo and Otis. Yes,
Snuff
of
for our children. And a snuff is a snuff.
So I went to the
And
courthouse.
groovin' was groovin'.
Oh,
Hang on, I'm getting back.
he's getting back. He's back in his groove. Go, Stella. Get it back.
Adnan was there.
Oh my God.
I say all of this to say
What about Best Buy?
that found footage did not start with the Blair Witch Project. But the Blair Witch Project was such a huge phenomenon in 1999 that it basically started a subgenre in American horror movies that hasn't ever really stopped. Daniel Myrick and Eduardo
No, that can't be his name. It sounds like you didn't say his name right.
Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez are
There
the
it
directors of the Blair Witch Project. They produced it for a budget of $60,000.
Well, I thought you said 10,000. This is
60,000.
much less impressive.
And the other movie we're talking about, Meet the Parents, was made for $55 million.
It seemed like more of a $10,000.
And it's just people in a house
Right.
talking.
Two houses. And a
So
street.
these guys had an outline for a script. They didn't have any of the dialogue written out, so they put out a call for actors who could improvise and who were willing to be uncomfortable and learn about like camping skills and stuff.
Easily the most impressive thing about the movie is that is improv. I mean, like, the character of, what was her name? Why can't I think of it?
Heather.
It's such a specific kind of person. It's hard to think that that's just that actor's
She
personality.
really created something.
I mean, it's subtle, but it's effective and annoying.
And it ruined her life. And we'll get into that.
Oh my
though.
God, keep talking. When does this music go away?
This is going to be the whole episode.
Oh, okay.
It just makes me feel good. But, so, the directors, they went into the woods and they, like, were looking for just creepy locations. Like, what could happen? Ooh, that looks creepy. What could happen there? So, they left shit at these, they left these film canisters with instructions inside. And then later they trained the actors on how to use these GPS trackers. And then just said, like, go to this location, find the instructions that are in there, and that'll like a fun little riddle scavenger hunt.
So even for the actual actors, so that they could be kind of put off, or like,
Well, because the
also
crew wasn't
desperate?
with them. Like, the actors were kind of just doing it on their own,
Right.
And filming and recording the sound on their own.
Got it.
And then the crew would, like, in the middle of the night without warning, like, rustle their tent and throw
You
rocks
said-
and stuff.
You said the crew wasn't with him, Matt, which is it?
They weren't with them most of the time, but in the movie, when the tents are rattling, that's the crew of the film surprising them. They don't know that that's going to happen, and suddenly, wow, we're the witch, you're scared. And the actors, they describe this as annoying,
Okay.
but not scary.
So were they actually tired then? Did
They
seem
were tired, and they were annoyed and hungry, and their amount of food was, they were given less food each day to contribute to the annoyance. So, 1998.
Like all good horror films, there was lots of abuse on the set.
Right, you're
Kinda,
just
yeah.
thinking
And
of
we should cancel people.
the genre.
They said it wasn't dangerous, it was just uncomfortable. Nothing they couldn't handle. They
Roman
said.
Polanski said that.
Right?
This is the Polanski defense.
Wait, but the other one from Here's Johnny. Why can't I think of it? It's Shining.
Mm-hmm.
That's another example of a director that tortures.
Yes.
Say his name.
Stanley Kubrick.
There we go.
But in that case, that's making an actor do something over and over again for 6 months, whereas this was just 8 days. 8 annoying days, and then it's over.
Like Hanukkah.
Which is nothing for a film timeline.
Yeah. So once they finish producing the movie, they make a website, which you can find on archive.org, and it's gloriously 1990s.
Right.
And so it's just like the website just declares like all this stuff is real. Here's information about these missing people, Heather Donahue and stuff. Here's information about the Blair Witch, and this is like a successful early viral marketing campaign, and it ends up building some buzz for the movie. And when it screens at Sundance, January 1999. This is like the very end of the 90s indie film boom. And there's not the pickings at Sundance are slim pickings. But this movie's kind of a hit there, and Artisan Entertainment ends up buying it for $1.1 million. And then the movie becomes the big surprise hit of the year. It makes $250 million at the box office. It's by some accounts the most profitable movie ever made. And I don't know. What do y'all remember about when it came out?
God, okay, 99? So I
Yeah.
would have been 14, 15? No one knows? Okay, great. I guess I was old enough to, I would have been in my first inappropriate relationship with a boy, and he would be into horror movies, and we would go see this, and I'd be scared and act like I wasn't.
Did
be
you
a little
see it?
high. Yeah, of course. Yeah, in the theater. I remember seeing it in the theater. But I can't remember if I thought it was real or not. I think what I thought was there was like rumors, and it was confusing. I feel like it was whispers both ways. It's real. It's not real. But I did get to see it when it was still gray.
Mm-hmm. Wade, do you remember?
Not really. I was probably busy with, Tom Petty and stuff in 1999.
Same. At 12 years old.
Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
I think I had a similar, I heard it's real and I heard it's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say? Both sides have valid cases.
Was it more interesting to you because you felt like you'd see it when you were older? Like, were you curious? Like, oh, that's one of those ones I'll get to see when I'm brave. Okay.
I think that I was like, no, that's so scary. There's no way I'll ever live a life where I see stuff like that. That's probably what I thought.
That makes sense. 12. That makes sense.
Because that was what you heard about this movie was it's the scariest movie ever made.
And I wish
And
I
it's real.
hadn't heard that. I think that I do remember, I had definitely heard that it's the scariest movie. And I remember being disappointed at the ending, but also feeling superior to the people around me because I understood what the ending meant.
Oh.
And everyone else was just like, whoa, there's no witch. Where's the witch? It's like,
Yeah, it's...
idiots.
They said,
It's more powerful this way.
this was not meant to be like a mass market movie, but it became so big that just your regular normie horror movie fans go see it and they're like, there's no payoff here. It just ends like that.
So it was meant to disappoint half and then thrill the other half?
No, it's supposed to be like a smart little movie.
Yeah, so the critics got a boner and the normies got a, huh?
Mm-hmm. That happens.
A bummer. A boner and a bummer. That's the kind of movie website review company website we should make. Is it a boner or bummer?
I give it 2 boners up.
So,
A chub in a semi. That's one
Wade,
and a
did
half.
you have? Okay, Wade, had you seen it before?
I had never seen the movie before
Preparing
last
for-
Saturday.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's wait. Are you a horror film kind of guy?
Yeah,
You are?
kind of. I mean, I have I have very particular tastes when it comes to horror.
Yeah,
I
this one's
guess.
a little homemade. Are you one of those people who stay away from certain kinds of scary things? Like I know a lot of people who don't mess with the paranormal, ghosts, something you could still, if you're a religious person or superstitious person, you could convince yourself there are ghosts, and like those kinds of people sometimes won't watch anything to do with that. Like alien horror, that's fine. Anything that's like outside of the realm of maybe possible.
Yeah. What's scary to you?
Don't Look Now. I thought was a really scary movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is that with
Donald Sutherland.
keep going?
Julie Christie. It's like there's a kidnapped boy
Is
or
there?
a murdered someone or other.
There's a freak accident and a child dies, and then they go to Venice. The couple goes to Venice and they start thinking that they see their kid around town. And-
Yeah, I don't do kid death.
Yeah, I don't like kid stuff.
Well,
it's not
the
kids'
climax of that movie is the closest I've ever felt, I think, to a movie making me feel the way I do when I'm actually in a nightmare.
Okay.
Oh. I need to watch that again.
Well, what about
And The Lighthouse was a close second.
Lighthouse was tough.
I don't know. I liked Alien. I liked The Shining. You didn't mean what movies do I find
No, what is it?
scary?
Is there a thing that you think is scary? Do you think ghosts are scary? Do you think
See,
aliens are
in
scary?
research
No.
for this evening, I read a quote by Stephen King that said the scariest thing he can think of is his imagination.
Well, good
Yeah.
for
But
him.
what about you, Patrick? What actually
Well,
makes you
that's-
scared?
I completely agree that I think the imagination. You can describe a horror movie in any kinds of words, like slasher or paranormal or film or whatever, and you can follow that genre's lines, but I think good writing leaves at least some level of the imagination, and that's why nothing has to actually happen in Blair Witch Project.
Okay.
It's
That's
where
a
you
good
don't need
point.
to see the words. That's why.
That's true. It's,
And
That's why you don't
pertinent.
need to see
He's talking
anything,
about
you
the
don't need any
movie.
explanation. You're just terrified off your ass of the thought of being lost in the woods with two people also lost, and you hear noises at night, and then one of you disappears. It's just like the simple things. Like imagine being that person.
Mhm.
Your imagination is what makes that movie scary.
yeah,
not
it's just dread.
The
Dread.
presence or no presence of a witch. It's about your imagination.
Why did you pick this movie? What's your history with it?
He's a witch.
Patrick.
I
what's-
think it's, I like horror a lot, but I like old horror. I don't.
What's
like
your favorite
very
horror
much-
movie, Patrick?
Nightmare on Elm Street. Probably 4.
So campy horror?
It's not
No,
campy.
I guess just by reputation it is to me. Just because
I
I
guess
find Freddy
kinda,
Krueger
'cause I guess after Nightmare on Elm Street, I would say Evil Dead would be there.
also
which is
campy though,
pretty
right?
camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
think
campy.
Patrick likes a side of humor with his
Mhm.
horror. Or
I do.
an anti-hero that you can really kind of root for.
Or actually be really scary. I feel like the 2000s is filled with a bunch of hilarious bullshit. It's not scary. It's just so funny. Like what's the one with the mummy?
The
Dead,
Mummy.
no, not the Dead.
The
something.
Mummy Returns.
Wait, say
No,
it.
You're not my
which
mummy.
one?
Say more
No,
about it.
it doesn't have mummy in the title.
Throw Mummy from the
called
train.
Dead Silence. Dead Silence, right?
Dead silence.
Dead Silence. Yes.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's legit a mummy movie?
No, it's a dummy. It's not a
Yeah.
mummy.
No, did I say mummy? I meant doctor.
Oh my god.
I meant verbal
Night of the
dyslexia.
Living Mummy.
Yeah, no, I have verbal dyslexia. I totally meant dummy. Dummy movie, yeah.
I
It's
agree,
brilliant.
dummies
Or
are.
The Orphan. Remember when we saw that in theaters, Matt?
I do. And then
What
Lacey
movie?
and I watched it a few years ago. Dead
What?
Silence. It's
Yes.
And they made a sequel.
yeah. The guy who directed
Remember
Saw.
how I said this is such a big hit. We need another one.
horror. People like horror and horror sequels. They're easy to make and people like them.
2000 is full of crap. It's just
It really
it's
is.
self-serving garbage.
Okay, but the Blair Witch Project
not original.
specifically.
It's not scary. It's not any fun at all. I mean, I think the good 2000s horror movies I've seen, because Blair Witch is 1999, so that doesn't even count. Blair Witch was actually pretty good, and then I don't know, it's mostly garbage. There was one of them I liked.
Well, you
I
know, we
looked
can
up
talk
some clips
beyond.
from Blair Witch after I watched Blair Witch Project, and
I like.
Well, it was more audience serving. Like, I actually had a witch in this one. If you actually watched the movie through.
But that's what was so great about the first one is
Right.
it's more like
Right.
Jaws. You don't see the
But-
bad guy.
But also,
Exactly.
it's also like
people who complain about the movie because there's no witch are missing the point of the movie.
Exactly.
But also
they're
they
not
die.
like Stephen King.
They die
have
in the
no
house.
imagination.
They die in the house of Rust and Parr, though, so that's also interesting. And they
Right.
die, and they die in the way that he made the children die. One faced in the corner while one dies. So it's like there's an argument there that it wasn't even a witch, or if it was she possessing him? The lore is actually kind of all over the place.
Yeah. Do you know the lore, Patrick? Like, could you explain what happens in this movie?
Like the interviewee part in the beginning.
Well, first I tried to
But the lore has everything not to do with the witch. Like the lore in Blair Witch has to do with the witch. The lore in this one has to
We
do with
should have
Rust and
watched
Parr.
that for this. I
did watch it.
The lore in this one only talks about a serial killer, like specifically talks about a serial killer, Rust and Parr.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly right. It's a good job. Kills
My notes.
several people, several kidnapped children. Makes them.
7.
He brings them to the basement. Yeah, I think it was 7. That's right. And he brings them 2 at a time. Makes one stay in the corner and look into the corner while he kills the other one.
I call bullshit. 7 is a odd number. So
Exactly. That's what I said too. I said, wait, there's 3 pairs and then an odd one. Like, what did he mean? Maybe he went 2, 2, 3. I don't know.
Maybe he tested the waters with 1 and was like, definitely 2 next time, and then just kept that up.
Maybe we'll just say that. That's what happened. Yeah, but yeah. No, I wanted the same thing. But anyway, so yeah, the people talk about Rust and Parr in the 50s. He killed the kids.
And Mary Brown. Mary Brown is the crazy lady.
Mary Brown's crazy lady. And once they actually leave and they start getting into the woods, they talk to some fishermen who talk about
Robin Weaver.
A woman who didn't touch the ground or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yes, that is a scary description. Those random fishing men who don't seem like to be in on the interviewing at all, kind of annoyed, and then all of a sudden the bumbly quiet one's got a crazy ass story. I don't know, it definitely sucks you in, and you feel like you're in the woods as soon as they seem a little bit lost.
I couldn't tell if there is actually like a mythology you can suss out, or if it is supposed to just sort of feel folktale-ish, like
kind of mishmash because it's been passed around.
Yes, and that you're not supposed to figure it out. This is really just a feeling.
There's also the sense like some supernatural horror is like
because of the formations.
Like you don't really know like where it comes from. It's like supernatural, like bad energy that came out of human beings doing fucked up shit in the first place.
Well, and they keep pointing to like fucked up locals, and you can't totally rule that out. I mean, it could just be people who are like really into their own lore, and they see some strangers interviewing all the people in their town, and like, okay, you want to get lost in our woods? We're gonna make creepy shit while you're sleeping. We're gonna rattle your tent. Then we're gonna kill you in a house we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
The deliverance
in a house we know.
I did. So I saw the 2016 movie a few years ago. I remember liking it. Then I watched it a few nights ago, and I watched it right after watching Blair Witch Project, and I thought, boy, this really pales in comparison. The new one does.
There's no jump scare. The old one doesn't rely on jump scares.
Neither does the new one, but one of the things.
Exactly.
What's the new one?
The new one is just called Blair Witch.
Oh, I thought you guys were saying that was in the 2000s.
It was 2016.
Tell you a couple of good and bad things about both of them. First off, with the original one, what makes it so good is that, and why it practically started the found footage genre, is because it makes it work better than anybody ever has ever since or before. these three people, they completely improvise their lines.
Which is
they're
so
not-
impressive
there's
to
never a
me.
script.
Yeah.
There's no script at all. Okay, it's just vague instructions on where to go and what to do, and and the reactions are completely natural. There's again no script, so anything you see, it's all just one take. There's complete difference between memorizing lines and being a traditional actor.
Well, it's
and
not.
doing
They didn't just do one take, but it's that they just tried and tried
Well,
and
because you
tried
couldn't
stuff.
redo take. Like if they had an important thing, they said like, "Hey, Josh, I'm coming to get you." They couldn't say, "Hey, cut, rewind."
No,
Say it again. They
did.
It is spliced together, though.
They just capture everything
But
and then
that's
pick the best takes.
That's the
Exactly.
genius
No,
of it.
you can either call it one giant one take or a million one takes cut together. Whatever it is, they can't rewind.
I was gonna say that's the genius of having the wraparound, or the whole story being that they are there to use cameras and sound equipment and different cameras to get different shots, because then it explains why. That's what makes the found footage work. You go in between shit that's hard to look at to stuff that's like beautiful to look at. It gives you that break. The really good sound makes sense. So it's just smart to think of all those things and it still feel very authentic.
And I think more than any other any other found footage movie, this movie justifies the fact that they
the
are
footage
still
is found.
filming.
Oh yeah. Because Heather's so driven.
There's so many movies where it's just like, ooh, the camera has a light. I'm using the camera for its light. That's why I'm still filming. But in this, it's a coping mechanism, and it's creating tension. Why are you still filming? I have to film. And then they like throw it back.
And then
face.
Josh, before he cracks, I see why you like this, Heather.
Yeah, that's good.
It was smart, and you get to see Heather because there's so many gaps between actually getting to see her.
Yeah.
They do a great job of making
so
me
good at
hate
being a
her.
bitch.
Yes,
She's so
I
good at being a
instantly
bitch.
hate her. Right, but she's like
the best bitch.
she lets it roll off of her, which is so effective.
She took a lot of that from.
It's not a good bitch to be a bitch. It's just that's how she is. And then once she gets scared, it's like, oh wow, this hard bitch is scared now. And then you feel for her.
That's super believable. Yeah.
She didn't she
No,
base a lot of her
it's honestly-
choices off of like a casting director or
Yeah,
somebody?
she said that. Well,
It
I
was
think
based
that
off of somebody that she knew.
makes a lot of sense. I mean, she's like, especially this is supposed to be 1994, so this is a woman director. Almost everybody she's going to be around are men, so she has to carry herself a certain way and like really project a sense of authority, even if she doesn't feel like she actually has it. And that's it's so good. But that's also, I said earlier, I don't think you're on, Patrick, that this movie kind of ruined her life, and it seemed like it was because people thought she was this character, and she was so annoying. And people,
and it didn't hurt that they all used their real names in the movie. Too.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So when she tried to get cast as Heather Donahue, it's like, oh, Heather Donahue, the girl from the movie.
Yeah, and it
You
like
seem like a
everybody
real
saw
tool.
this movie too. So
Yeah.
and
I think she changed her name to like
she
Ray
did. She changed her
something.
name.
Yeah, she did something, but yeah.
But here, the other thing that I didn't like about Blair Witch 2016 is that in that movie they're using like contemporary, like even cameras that normal people can get their hands on and use are so good looking that it just looks like you're watching a real movie. Like even though there's like shaky stuff and lots of cuts, it's HD footage, so it just doesn't have this sort of like homemade quality.
Looks like the kind of shit that Miss McGoey would give me a D for back in high school.
Okay, good reference that everyone's going to relate to.
Y'all know her.
Way back Wade telling us about
Hey!
Miss MacGuffin or whatever the fuck he just
And
said.
now it's time for Way Back Wade.
Use that voice. you
Remember
got, Wade.
back in high school when we all took multimedia video productions class and everybody wanted to make a documentary about Mandeville.
And
Oh, that
some
would
of
be
us
so
lived in
good.
Metairie and we're 5 years older than you.
Lacey,
No!
4 years older than you. It's true, Wade. I haven't always been in your life. I know. That's the real Blair Witch.
Lacey, were there haunted things in Metairie?
Oh, fuck yeah. I was. I told everyone I was haunted.
No, were there spots?
Just turned out I had a bad childhood. Okay.
like haunted places.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, let me really think about that shit. I mean, I convinced everyone that was ever my friend that my house, whatever one I was in or apartment, was haunted. But yes, that is a great... God, nothing's coming straight to mind, so I can't imagine that there was
Wade and
anything that
Patrick.
was a big deal. Oh, the nunnery or something you're going to talk about, right? Nuns? You guys had a nun thing? Matt?
Patrick.
Okay, fuck.
The nunnery.
Ah!
Yeah, the nunnery. I was looking this up because there are a lot
I
of.
was a big pussy though.
Wait, what? What do you
I
think?
was like the biggest pussy. Like I would do these brave, daring things to Matt,
Uh-huh.
but like other things though, I would just be the biggest pussy.
It's like my life
Give
is
us an
hard
example.
What big daring thing did you do to me?
Show us your big
I don't
pussy.
know, climb onto the roof, and then get the video camera up there.
Wait, what about going on stalking
I did
basketball
brave, daring
players
things to
recently?
you.
Sorry.
Did you?
That's not true?
Wait, I missed it. What'd you say?
Are you saying I didn't do brave, daring things?
No, I'd say
Probably found them annoying and scary.
yes. I found them annoying.
Patrick's gonna break his ankle. It's gonna be my fucking fault.
Well, on one instance, I'd be a superhero in Brave, and the other, I'd just be a super pussy like at the Nunnery. The Nunnery was.
Did you? So you went to the nunnery?
Well, you liked heroism you could control.
So
You could-
to the listeners in Covington, Louisiana, near where we grew up,
The coolest place.
there was a convent, and I looked this up, and all the local legends are like it's from the 18th century, or no, it's from the 19th century. In the early 1900s, it burned down and 80 people died.
Bottom line, women who don't fuck, scary.
Now, in actuality, it was built in the 60s. It did not burn down, as evidenced
It
by the
just
fact that
always
it
looked
is
that way.
it is still
It's
there.
abandoned.
Literally
It looks creepy
everything
as well.
wrong.
Yeah, when you abandon something, it starts to look really shitty and decrepit.
That is the best part of the first Blair Witch movie. Is that house?
That
That is
house.
a
It's,
And the
gorgeous
house looks
it's a real
crazy,
abandoned house.
but
Mhm.
it looks weirdly modern. So it is like
It's
it does.
so
Yeah, it
creepy.
does.
But I
yeah.
guess it's from the 1960s, right? No, 1940s. It definitely didn't look like a 1940s house, but just because it's abandoned in the woods, like it looks like there's
the only work
raccoons.
they did to it
It's
was the
scary.
handprints on the wall and stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
All the paint on the wall was the only work they did to it. It was already decrepit and
Yeah, that
creepy
seemed
as hell,
very
dude.
realistic. I mean, that seemed authentic for sure.
oh yeah, and that's why that's one of the reasons it sold so well. No, I swear to God, that ending is one of the most terrifying things. My cat, for some reason, I'll open the door and he'll be in the next room and he'll just be sitting in the corner, facing the corner.
Oh,
Well,
and
then
I'm just like fucking terrified. I'm like,
you wouldn't want to
God,
babysit
dude.
Sully then.
No.
I
There's
was-
lots of
Don't do
creepy
that.
stuff. So it sounds
What
like we
is
all.
fucking
It sounds like we all
awful?
liked it.
I
I
liked
definitely
it.
liked it. I guess my question to Patrick was just for this to be a load-bearing beam. I guess I just think of a load-bearing beam as something you watch a lot, and I can't really imagine this being something. I'd have to like. I need a long break. It just takes so much
Every
out
Halloween.
of me to watch it. It moves, but I'm exhausted after.
Yeah. How many times have you seen it?
For the last 10 years at least, I've watched Evil Dead and Blair Witch Project every Halloween. Probably for the last 15 years.
I could see
Blair
that.
Witch
does that does
Maybe it
that
I
count,
becomes
Laci?
charming after a
Evil
while.
Dead was the first one. Evil Dead started a few years earlier. I appreciated that for what it
And
was.
most people who like Evil Dead prefer Evil Dead 2. That's the real classic.
And I hate that. I don't know why. It's like overcamp. Like we were fine with the level of camp we
Camped
had before.
out.
You took
Pack
it too
up
far.
the
Like,
camp.
one was scary too. One was a little funny, with Ash. She's, obviously just naturally funny, but it was also creepy as hell. Okay? The fucking makeup in one is just so creepy and terrifying. And just, yeah. Oh.
Patrick, you'd be very impressed, but I don't know if you can see. Matt's got all these clips that he's taken from the movie. Do you plan to play any of these, Matt?
Yeah, let's
I mean,
have
just,
a clip.
I mean, like, why? Why
Well,
did you
one
choose
is-
the ones you chose?
Yeah, like this one is called That Slime, dude.
Like this, you just opened it up. It spilled all my fucking water. It looks like slime, man. It's just water, man. It is slime. What the fuck is that, dude? Let's get the
I just liked It's Slime, dude.
It's slime,
I-
dude.
And then Heather calls back to it, and she's like, "Wait, he's gone because they
He's covered in
slimed him." Like, they singled him out.
I thought that what this movie got at was that what you never see depicted in movies is in really scary and stressful situations. The thing you will mostly be doing is fighting with each other and over the
yeah.
most petty shit. Like, I know we're lost. I know you know we're lost. Don't talk to me like that.
Which is another trope that's become like totally overwrought the last 20 years. That
Is fighting.
Is the fighting?
Yeah, building artificial tension that way.
Oh, I thought
it never felt like that in Blair Witch.
I think it felt so natural.
It felt
That's what I'm
it was
saying.
authentic.
It seems like it
Yes,
seems like
exactly. The acting was really good without being too good. You know, like in a found footage movie, I think there's such a thing as too good of acting. You know.
Well, yeah, I thought in Blair Witch 2016 they just seemed like actors. They're like acting in like acting style.
Well,
like,
Matt, you
Yes,
watched
exactly. If you're acting, yes,
you
exactly.
watched
These
Cloverfield
Mhm.
Oh, God.
and the Paranormal Activity movies because you wanted to watch other found footage movies for this. Just as authentic.
I think the first Paranormal Activities comes kind of close to this. I think
I'm terrified of those.
this is still the best one, Blair Witch. I don't think it's kind of they just got lightning in a bottle with these three people, with the story and with the specific way they did it. And every movie since then, found footage movie has just been a response to it. Like we're either going to recreate it or we're going to
I agree.
subvert the tropes.
I would definitely never buy it on the story alone or anything like that. It's not that good. You know? I feel like Nightmare on Elm Street could have probably been done a lot of ways to make me enjoy it. You know, it didn't have to be exactly the way it was. But these three actors, you know, it's like they just took on these roles. And, you know, one played the strong leader, the other one played, you know, the wimp, and the other one's kind of in the middle. And they just all took them on so naturally and played them so realistically. Just no written dialogue, just, you know, tell me what you would say if you were here. You know?
Do you remember, Patrick, do you remember being aware of this movie when it came out or early in your life?
I mean, yeah, around the time it came out. I don't think maybe necessarily when it came out exactly, but I remember Scream did the thing with the, you know, snot come down the nose.
Scary movie.
Scary movie, I mean, not
Yeah.
Scream. Scary movie.
Screamy movie.
I remember hearing about it and hearing like, this is real. This is actually real. Do you remember that?
No, but I can see where you probably would have, based on the research I did. Said they even had like a documentary on like sci-fi or something like that.
Mm-hmm. When did you see it the first time?
I don't know when I saw it for the first time, and I don't know. I don't think I appreciated it for the first two times I saw it. Not at all. I don't think. I don't know. I don't know when it clicked eventually, but it was later than my other top horror movies. But once it did, like, I don't know. I do remember actually. It was when I was in Idaho. It was about 8 years ago. I remember being at somebody's house, and
So this is a relatively
they
recent.
had never seen it before. And his
Fine for
girlfriend was like,
you.
"That looks scary," you know. And we put it on, and they hated it because, you know, they're young, you know, 10 years younger than me, and they want a slasher or something like that. You know, literally nothing fucking happens except snapped twigs and rocks clicking, you know. But they didn't get it, man. But I fucking got it, man. I'm not gonna lie. There's a little bit of you know, sticky icky was involved, man.
What?
But I fucking got it.
Whatever you need to
dude.
get in the right space, man.
No, because I had seen it before, and they wanted to put it on, and the preview was playing, and I was like, huh, maybe I was wrong about this, because I didn't think anything special of it. And yeah, it was amazing. It was fucking amazing.
You've had an evolution with this movie.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no. Because it's the beauty is in the simplicity, you know, that, and you know me, it's simplicity is hard for me to come by and to look at. You know, I'm blunt like Dumb and Dumber or Freddy Krueger. You know,
We should have done Dumb
so
and
it's
Dumber.
about
We
this.
should have done Dumb and Dumber.
We've done it before.
It's me and Patrick's twin.
We did an
drinking.
episode about it.
Joint beam.
It was our joint beam. Did we do it?
3, 4. Everybody, love Mary Beams, love Mary